Hello and welcome back to SpriteGuard Plays Umihara Kawase. This is my 100th Let's Play, and so I thought I would make something a little bit special, go back to the very first game that I ever played on this channel, and try out a few things that I was never really able to accomplish during the run of the main series. So I'm going to give this jump a shot, though I've been a little bit out of practice in this game, and recently I have not been able to make this jump work. I'm using a different controller than I normally use because I want to make sure that I can do one thing in particular that I am really looking forward to doing in this episode, if it's possible. Because basically, when I realized that I was coming up on 100 videos, I started thinking about what it is that I had done in the course of those 100 videos and what it is that I hadn't done, and kind of thinking about what I wanted to do for a special video. And I realized that there was one thing that I had talked about doing in this game that I had never quite accomplished. And so I want to go back to a very early jump in this game, in the very second level that we see. And I'm very glad that I nailed that on my first try. The very first jump on this level. Now, in almost every episode, I went up this elevator here, and I often remarked that what I really wanted to do was to go down below here. And so I have been practicing this series of jumps to see if I can do it on camera, because that was something that I'd always wanted to do and was never quite able to do during the series. So let's see if I can make this happen. We're doing pretty well so far, much better than I expected. I thought that this would probably end up taking many tries before I did it, but I've been practicing this first part of the jump so many times that I'm finally starting to get it down. Now this second bit that I'm on now, where I'm kind of trying to work my way under this platform, I've had less practice with, just because it's so difficult to get the first part down, and that last bit of the jump is the part that I've had the least amount of practice on, and is almost as hard as the first jump here. But I'm starting to get this first jump down, and I'm really happy with that, because it's taken so long that I started thinking that I might never get it down. But, I mean, that's what's great about these kinds of games, is that persistence pays off, that everything that is possible is something that you can do. You know, games, things are either possible or impossible. There's no maybe about anything. So I think what I need to do here is kind of hook myself around this corner like I've done here, and use that to create some vertical momentum. But I'm having some trouble with the way that I pull in the line. So making this first part of the jump involves a lot of alternating between my thumbs in a way that is very fast and very precise. I have to alternate between diagonally up and down very quickly, and I have to time the release and press of my right hand in order to fall. As I'm going between up and down very quickly, I have to be releasing and pressing my right hand in sync with that, and so it's very tricky, and I have to worry about not getting hit by that rock that falls. So there is a lot to worry about as I do this, and there are a lot of ways that this can go wrong, and so I have often spent all 10 lives just trying to get through this one jump, just practicing this one jump, and not making it, sometimes not even making it through the first part of the jump in 10 or 20 tries. And so really the thing that I want to do in this episode is just really put the work in to to make this. And so that's the end. Normally I end this after I run out of lives, but today I want to power through and see if I can do it. So we're going to have to play the first level probably a few times. I'll try to do it differently each time. I have actually continued to discover new ways of approaching this level, but I'm going to kind of go through them in a little bit of a slightly random order. I do want to keep trying this out because it's a fun jump, and... oh, that was a mistake. Alright, so one of the ways that I discovered recently for approaching this level starts out the way that I usually do it, but what I found was that I could actually send myself up the middle from this side, and so I want to see if I can do that. Now, for some reason, my down key is not being very responsive, and so I'm a little bit worried about my ability to successfully make this jump. And I don't want to spend too much time on it because the main thing that I want to do is finish this jump on the second level. But I'm actually playing pretty sloppily at this point because I'm a little bit rushed. I want to get through to the second level and get back to work on that jump. But, of course, if I rush too much, even the first level has a few hazards that I can throw away lives on, even though I've played this level so many times. And it's very much an introduction, a tutorial level, where there's not much to worry about. It's pretty easy to get past. So even though I should be able to get past that level without losing any lives, sometimes I throw away too, just because I'm feeling a little bit sloppy. And tonight may not be the best night to be trying to set new accomplishments in this game, because I'm not feeling the greatest that I've ever felt. I'm a little bit down today. Not for any particular reason, though I did get out of a particularly exhausting week where we had company every single night, and I was helping out the family, and it was, you know, it was good, but it was exhausting, and I'm still recovering from that. I normally wake up at 7 on weekdays, and then 8 or 9 on weekends. Today, I think I woke up at like 1 or 2. No, not that late, like 12:40, but still way, way later than I've woken up in months, if not years. So, I'm feeling a bit sluggish today, but I really feel like this is something that is within reach. And so, I really hope that you can be here. I may end up having to edit this video down if it ends up taking too long, because I know that it's going to get very repetitive very fast. And so, when I go into this in editing, I might decide that I want to cut out a lot of the stuff that's happening. I don't usually like the sort of jerkiness that editing brings to a 2D game, because I feel like in a 3D game, when you do edits, they feel like cuts. Generally, the entire scenery changes, but in a 2D game, when you do an edit, often very little on the screen changes, and so it can feel more like the character is teleporting than it does like there's been an edit. That's especially true with games like The Binding of Isaac, where each level or each kind of screen is very static and similar. I remember I saw NerdCube's Binding of Isaac video for the first Binding of Isaac game, and it really seemed like he was teleporting around sometimes, and it didn't feel like a very sharply edited video the way a lot of NerdCube's videos feel. It felt more like this kind of very messy teleporting. And so that's something that I've been very aware of, and it's a reason that I have kind of avoided editing my videos very much, because the games that I play tend to be 2D and tend to be not really suited to a really highly edited style. And because the way that I approach games tends to not be that well suited to a very highly edited style. I think that because the failures and the uncertainties are so important to the way that I play, I think that cutting those out would actually be doing something of a disservice. Now, I noticed a rock going over the right-hand side of this. I didn't know that that eel could actually throw rocks that far. Alright, so that's exactly what I want. There we go, we did it! Alright! Finally made it across there. Now, I'm a little bit uncertain about celebrating just because I actually, during my practice, I made it to that last platform there and then fell off. But there, I've done it. I've accomplished the jump that I wanted to make. I've done 100 videos. I hope I do 100 more. I hope I do more than 100 more. Thank you very much for joining me, and have a great rest of your day.